It's a real pleasure to be here. One of the positions that I did not mention was that I worked in the Middle East for 3 years as Exploration Director for Petroleum Development Oman. So it's always a pleasure to come back to this part of the world. And in fact, I see one of my old colleagues here today, which is a double pleasure. So what I want to talk to you about is how do we build a resilient future? But just before I do that, I want to tell you a little bit about the British Safety Council. So we're a not-for-profit organisation. Our vision is very simple. No one should be injured or made ill at work. Our resources are aimed at reducing risk and preventing injuries in the workplace. And this year is our 60th anniversary. We were founded by a very inspirational and perhaps very controversial leader called James Tighe. He was absolutely passionate 60 years ago about occupational health and safety. This was in the UK before we had the Health and Safety at Work Act, and we were killing lots of people in our workplace every day. And he ran a series of both controversial advertisements, he lobbied government, and was instrumental in getting things like the seatbelt law passed in the UK. So, you know, his motto was, you have to make a fuss to make a difference. He founded our organisation. We now have 6,200 corporate members, and we still today campaign for proportionate health and safety. So, as I said, we're a membership organisation. We work in 60 countries around the world. So what started from a UK initiative now encompasses all sizes of companies, right from the very small micro organisations right up to the big construction multinationals. How do we work? Because we're a not-for-profit organisation, but we still have to generate income. And we don't do it through grants. We do it through providing training, qualifications, audit consultancy. We still look at policy and poll our members for their opinion. And some of you will know our awards. You know, we do believe celebrating safety is really important. And many of you will know our International Safety Awards and our Sword and Globe of Honour, which are absolute marks of real excellence, celebrating excellence. So I said that our vision has been the same for 60 years. No one should be injured or made ill at work. Now, it's a very simple vision, but of course it's not one that's easy to attain. How do we do this? Well, we believe a number of things help. One is sharing information. You can't do this alone. And our membership allows us to pass up-to-date information between members in a way that we can help each other. We also still do quite a lot of campaigning. The job is not done. We have some good legislation, but we need to make sure that it's proportionate. I think we've already heard that, you know, safe business is good business. So we need to make sure that the government understand what you, the practitioners, feel is proportionate in terms of safety legislation. Just a quote from our founder, James Tighe. Poor health and safety management isn't just a crime in law, but a crime against good business practice. He said that 50 years ago. It's still true today. When I just put that figure up, it's staggering. You know, something like 14 billion we worked out was the cost of poor business practice, and that's just in the UK. So if you think of that globally, that's an enormous price to pay for poor health and safety. So, you know, it's easy to say that it costs money to do safety. I would say it costs money not to do safety. That's where we come from. So let's move on a bit. So what is excellent? Where does it start? what we believe that it's about people, and what's really important about people is leadership. You cannot have a safe organisation unless you have the right environment. You can legislate for compliance, but you have to inspire people. And how do we get the right environment? It's about encouragement, it's about getting your teams to provide the right environment. It's about being supportive, it's about enabling. Now, all of those things are about inspirational leadership. Now, I put up some inspirational leaders. You don't have to be a Nelson Mandela or a Winston Churchill. If you are, it helps, of course. But, the truly great leaders of this world come in all shapes and sizes, all nationalities, but they have one thing in common, and that's a passion, a dedication, and a positive engagement. They can deal with people. They know how to inspire people. It's not about what they say, it's about what they do. We're programmed almost from birth to look around the people that we work with as children and to model what they do. So if your leaders don't do the right thing, your organisation does not stand a chance of having the right environment. So what does HSE leadership look like? It isn't about the big things necessarily. Of course it helps when the CEO stands up and says leadership's one of my first priorities. It can never be the first priority. You've got a business to run. But you have to say leadership is one of my values. That's really important. The big safety days, the big events, they're really important. But I would also argue that it's the little things that matter. Going on site as a CEO or as a leader and picking up a piece of litter or just pointing out to some unsafe act somewhere actually has much more impact than the big speeches. It shows that A, you're noticing, and B, you care enough to go and pick it up. Nobody is too big or too great to go and do something, to move a piece of rubbish or to comment on an unsafe situation. I've also seen CEOs go on site and the first thing they do is we'll go and talk to someone, not the big set piece, but they'll go and look at someone who's perhaps working on scaffolding and say, tell me about the risks of your job. And this isn't about trying to catch people out. It's about genuinely understanding what it is they think about the risks of their job. And always asking the question, what can we do better? What can we do to make your job safer and better? So it's this, obviously the big things, but it's the little things, doing as you want others to do, engaging and making sure that you're approachable. And those things, I think, create the right environment for people, A, to know it matters, B, to speak up when it's not safe, and I think helps create that truly inspirational leadership that we all want. So what I want you to do, if you're going to make a resilient organisation, is to go back and think, what does health and safety mean to you? How is it an enabler for your business? How do you model that for your team? Some of the things I want you to think about are consistency. It's no good standing up making the big speech one day and then, not following through with the small things the next day. It's about being supportive, not punitive. It's engaging in conversations, finding out what's wrong and discussing it. And just one plea, we've been on a long journey with safety. We have made a big difference, but I think the next big agenda is also health. There have been improvements, things like asbestos and noise vibration, but we know now that the musculoskeletal disorders and mental health issues are the next big wave that keep people away from work and don't encourage a healthy environment. So when you're thinking about what does health and safety mean to you, think about the health issue as well. It's not just the obvious safety issues, but think about a healthy workforce in every sense of the word. So I'd like to leave you with one quote from our truly inspirational leader: be the change you want to see in the world. We really believe that there's a health and safety leader in all of us. We can all transform our organisation through visible leadership. So be the change you want to see in your organisation. Thank you.